The public face of global fame is almost always a carefully constructed mosaic of grand announcements, flashing cameras, and coordinated media releases. When major personalities walk away from traditional, centuries-old structures to build their own paths, the world watches with an insatiable curiosity, assuming every single move is calculated for maximum visibility. We are accustomed to seeing philanthropy done under the bright glare of television studio lights, where charitable donations are accompanied by massive press conferences and perfectly timed social media updates designed to capture the public imagination. Every gesture is analyzed, every speech is broken down by body language experts, and every public appearance is weighed to determine whether it is genuine or merely an exercise in reputation management. This constant scrutiny creates a natural skepticism among viewers who wonder if anyone in the upper echelons of global celebrity ever acts out of pure, unadulterated compassion when the cameras are turned off and the reporters have gone home. It is easy to believe that true altruism has disappeared from the public sphere, replaced entirely by strategic public relations and brand positioning. The relentless cycle of breaking news and celebrity gossip feeds into this cynical perspective, leaving audiences searching for something real amidst a sea of manufactured images. Yet, behind the multi-million-dollar production deals, the massive global platforms, and the constant roar of international media attention, an entirely separate reality often exists completely out of sight. There are quiet alliances, silent text messages sent in the middle of the night, and immediate mobilizations of resources that never make it to the front pages of the morning newspapers. These are the moments that define true character, occurring far beyond the boundaries of public consumption and media tracking. To understand the full scale of this hidden dynamic, one must look at the unique intersections of culinary artistry, international crisis response, and the private lives of individuals who remain a constant fixture in global conversation. It is a world where high-profile figures deliberately choose to engage in grassroots humanitarian efforts without seeking validation, praise, or publicity from the outside world. If you find these deep insights into hidden global stories compelling and want to stay informed on the realities behind the headlines, please take a brief moment right now to subscribe to the channel so you never miss our upcoming investigative reports. The narrative surrounding modern public figures often leaves out the most critical element, which is the steady work that happens when there is absolutely no audience to applaud. When sudden global emergencies strike, whether they are environmental crises or humanitarian breakdowns, the immediate response from the public is usually one of shock and passive observation. However, certain individuals operate with a rare level of immediacy, utilizing private communication channels to bypass standard bureaucratic delays. These private conversations reveal a distinct pattern of behavior that challenges the cynical assumptions often made by the media and the public alike. Instead of waiting for official requests or calculating the promotional value of an action, these individuals choose to insert themselves directly into the mechanics of global problem-solving. This approach to humanitarian aid relies on a deep network of trusted professionals who operate on the front lines of global disasters, providing a bridge between immense institutional resource networks and local communities in dire need. The contrast between this quiet, effective work and the loud, often superficial nature of mainstream celebrity culture forms the core of an unfolding story that is only now beginning to be understood by the wider public. It raises fundamental questions about what it truly means to live a life of service when one has the option to remain completely isolated in luxury and comfort. The motivation behind these actions is frequently questioned by critics, but the consistent, unprompted nature of the involvement tells a very different story, pointing toward a deeply ingrained sense of global responsibility. As we look closer at these hidden connections, we begin to see how a shared dedication to human welfare can unite people from vastly different backgrounds, creating a resilient network capable of responding to human suffering at a moment's notice. The true depth of this collaboration and the specific ways it manifests during moments of international crisis remains an incredibly fascinating window into a lifestyle that balances intense public exposure with a resolute commitment to private, meaningful action. The curtain of anonymity begins to lift when we examine the specific, real-world partnerships that operate in the shadows of international crisis zones, away from the standard promotional cycles of the entertainment industry. At the center of this quiet operation is an extraordinary bond between Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, and the world-renowned, Michelin-starred chef José Andrés, who leads the expansive humanitarian organization known as World Central Kitchen. This alliance did not form overnight as a temporary marketing gimmick. Rather, it was forged in the turbulent landscape of 2020, a year defined by unprecedented global upheaval, economic distress, and widespread isolation. While the rest of the world was retreating into survival mode, the Duke and Duchess chose to formally connect their newly established non-profit entity, Archewell Philanthropies, with the Rapid Response Operational Network of World Central Kitchen. This strategic alignment transformed abstract intentions into concrete reality, establishing a framework where financial resources and high-level structural coordination could immediately be directed toward local communities devastated by natural disasters, food insecurity, and sudden systemic collapses. What sets this partnership apart from typical philanthropic endeavors is the sheer immediacy and lack of bureaucracy that characterizes their day-to-day communication during moments of global panic. José Andrés recently revealed that as major disasters begin to develop anywhere across the globe, his phone frequently lights up with direct calls and urgent text messages from Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The nature of these communications is never focused on media strategy, photo opportunities, or how to draft a public press statement to boost their public profile. Instead, the messages are consistent, direct, and entirely practical, always asking what they can do right there on the ground and how they can best help the teams currently deployed to the epicenter of the crisis. According to the celebrated chef, absolutely nobody from the mainstream media or the general public finds out about these intense, behind-the-scenes moments, yet they happen constantly and consistently, proving that their engagement is a permanent fixture of their lives rather than an occasional public relations exercise. For a couple that occupies one of the most heavily scrutinized positions in modern cultural history, the decision to deliberately hide these efforts challenges the prevailing narrative that every action they take is designed for public consumption. The Michelin-starred culinary expert emphasized that the Duke and Duchess are always deeply caring about all the complex, tragic things happening across the world, noting that they absolutely do not have to carry this heavy burden of global responsibility. They could easily choose to live a life of complete insulation, retreating into the immense comfort, safety, and privacy of their sprawling estate, entirely detached from the grim realities of international emergencies and human suffering. Yet they choose the exact opposite path, maintaining a constant vigilance and an active desire to be part of the solution even when nobody is looking and no cameras are present to document their contributions. This level of authentic dedication has earned them the deep respect and profound pride of frontline humanitarians who understand the true cost of crisis management. The operational philosophy of World Central Kitchen relies heavily on this type of unyielding support, as the organization specializes in arriving at disaster zones within hours to establish functioning kitchens and distribute fresh, nutritious meals to displaced families. By funding and supporting these localized, community-led feeding hubs through Archewell Philanthropies, the royal couple has helped build a highly adaptive infrastructure capable of feeding tens of thousands of people during their darkest hours. The tension inherent in this lifestyle is immense, as Prince Harry and Meghan Markle must constantly navigate the razor-thin line between a highly publicized external existence and their desire to protect a normal, grounded family life for their young children. Outside of their macro-level humanitarian interventions, the couple actively works to cultivate an ordinary, everyday friendship with José Andrés that mirrors the simple, grounded interactions of any regular family. When they gather together or speak on the phone outside of crisis situations, the conversations immediately shift away from global logistics, international philanthropy, and media pressures, focusing instead on the universal topics that define everyday human connection. They discuss the joys and challenges of raising children, the small milestones of family life, the discovery of a new dish, or the excitement of exploring a new local restaurant. This deliberate emphasis on normalcy extends deeply into the heart of their home in Montecito, where the kitchen has become the central meeting place and the emotional anchor for the entire household, just as it is for millions of ordinary families around the world. The famous chef has observed firsthand the beautiful, natural way Meghan Markle interacts with her children, Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet, within the culinary space, using food not just as sustenance, but as a primary tool for teaching, bonding, and creating lasting family traditions. This domestic warmth stands in stark contrast to the intense external pressures, legal battles, and constant media storms that follow them everywhere they go in the public sphere. The ability to transition seamlessly from coordinating emergency disaster relief in a broken corner of the world to cooking a quiet family meal at home reveals a complex, multi-layered existence that defies the simplified caricatures often presented by tabloid media. The depth of this commitment becomes even more profound when examining individual initiatives that require physical presence and personal risk in areas deeply affected by conflict and instability. Prince Harry's long-standing dedication to international veterans and wounded service members has frequently taken him far beyond the boundaries of traditional royal duties, forcing the public to look past the surface-level gossip and acknowledge a deeply ingrained sense of duty. The tension between their private desire for peace and their public responsibility to elevate the voices of the vulnerable creates a compelling, ongoing narrative that shapes everything they do. As we prepare to look closer at the specific international journeys, the personal histories, and the unique backgrounds of the individuals driving this global humanitarian machine, the true impact of this hidden network begins to reveal itself in full force, illustrating a profound philosophy of service that continues to operate quietly behind closed doors. To truly comprehend the global reach and structural significance of this humanitarian network, it is essential to look at the remarkable individuals who drive these initiatives forward on the international stage. Chef José Andrés is far more than a celebrated culinary artist. He is a visionary force who transformed the way the world approaches disaster relief. Born in Spain, he arrived in the United States with little more than his passion and a profound understanding of how food can serve as an instrument of hope and recovery. Over the decades, he established a culinary empire with Michelin-starred restaurants, but his defining legacy remains the creation of World Central Kitchen. This organization has responded to earthquakes, hurricanes, and conflict zones globally, proving that the immediate provision of hot, nutritious meals is a fundamental element of human dignity during times of absolute despair. It is this shared belief in immediate, practical action that drew Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to his side. The Duke of Sussex, having spent a decade serving in the military, possesses a deep, first-hand understanding of service, trauma, and resilience. His creation of the Invictus Games stands as a monument to his enduring dedication to wounded, injured, and sick service personnel and veterans worldwide. This profound sense of duty was demonstrated vividly when Prince Harry undertook a poignant journey to Ukraine to bring vital global awareness to those risking their lives, to aid the injured, and to support veterans facing immense adversity. José Andrés praised this difficult journey, noting that very few public figures with such high levels of security risk would choose to place themselves in such a volatile environment purely to elevate the voices of those working on the front lines of human suffering. This international endeavour underscores a central truth about the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, which is that their commitment to global welfare is not bounded by geographical comfort or traditional expectations. Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, brought her own long-standing history of advocacy to this union, having worked extensively with international organizations focused on gender equality, clean water access, and community empowerment long before her marriage into the British royal family. Her background as a successful actress on the hit television series Suits provided her with a massive global platform, but she has consistently chosen to redirect that immense spotlight towards systemic issues, grassroots community programs, and local initiatives that provide sustainable solutions to poverty and marginalization. When these two distinct paths converged, the establishment of Archewell Philanthropies represented a formalization of their shared worldview, built upon the core belief that compassion can be a tangible, measurable force for good in the modern world. The financial and operational backing they provide to World Central Kitchen has allowed for the construction of permanent community relief centers in regions highly vulnerable to climate disasters and economic shocks, ensuring that local populations are never left completely defenseless. The significance of their combined efforts lies in the creation of a blueprint for modern philanthropy, one that combines the logistical agility of a rapid response disaster relief organization with the global influence and resource network of a highly visible international foundation. This collaborative framework allows them to bypass the traditional, slow-moving philanthropic channels that often delay aid to those who need it most urgently. When a crisis unfolds, the ability to immediately mobilize localized supply chains, purchase food from local farmers to support the regional economy, and distribute thousands of meals within hours is what saves lives and prevents further societal breakdown. This is why the friendship and professional alliance between the chef and the royal couple matters so deeply on a global scale. It is an active, functional partnership that addresses the immediate physical needs of humanity while simultaneously advocating for long-term structural resilience. The intimate details shared by José Andrés regarding their private life offer a rare, unfiltered glimpse into the genuine humanity that underlies their public personas. By transforming their family kitchen into a vibrant hub of warmth, laughter, and shared culinary experiences, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are actively teaching Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet the values of humility, connection, and gratitude. The famous chef's observation of how beautifully the Duchess interacts with her young children through the medium of food highlights a deliberate choice to ground their family life in the simple, universal rituals that bind humanity together across all cultural and economic divides. In a world increasingly fractured by division, skepticism, and relentless digital noise, the story of this quiet, persistent alliance serves as a powerful reminder of what can be achieved when individuals refuse to let their public challenges diminish their private capacity for empathy. They continue to operate on the front lines of compassion, responding to the silent text of emergency workers, funding the construction of community kitchens, and ensuring that aid reaches the most isolated corners of the globe without any expectation of public acknowledgement or applause. The legacy of this work is not measured in headline counts or media metrics, but in the millions of meals served, the local communities empowered, and the quiet comfort brought to families during their most devastating moments of crisis. As the Duke and Duchess of Sussex continue to chart their independent path forward, their enduring partnership with José Andrés and World Central Kitchen remains a foundational pillar of their life of service. It stands as an authentic testament to the idea that true leadership is defined by what is done in the dark. When the cameras are absent, the crowds have gone home, and the only motivation is a sincere, unwavering desire to be a part of the solution for a hurting world.